All right, so first here I'm just going to place my two pieces of fabric on top of one another. Make sure they're lined up correctly. This would be the top and bottom of your fish, but for this video we're just using rectangles. And next I'm going to grab a Sharpie and I'm going to make some dots on either side of my piece. It doesn't have to be on the front and back, it could be. But this is just to show you where my needle is going to go in and where it's going to come out of as I sew. I would recommend placing your dots either just about as far apart as I've done here or a little bit closer. The closer they are, the cleaner your end piece is going to be. Your seams are going to be a little tighter and a little stronger. And so I'm then going to grab just a pin. I'm using a needle here because that's what I have at my house, but you will have pins. And I'm going to just stick it in my piece on the top and bottom and then bring it back over and up to secure these two pieces of fabric together. That needle/pin is not going to stay there forever, but it's helpful when our two pieces, especially when we're working a little bigger, we don't want them to, become disconnected or be in the wrong place. So I'm just pinning them together before I start sewing to make sure they're not going anywhere. Now I'm threading my needle, I'm taking my embroidery floss, popping it through the eye there, leaving a little bit of a tail, can you see? And then towards the end of the string, and I'm going to show you that in a second, the end of the string, I'm just going to make a regular knot, okay? The knot is the most regular knot you could make, so don't let it fool you. And then I'm just going to continue to knot my embroidery thread here a couple of times just to make sure that knot is pretty big. We don't want the knot to be so small that it could slip through the fabric. That defeats the purpose of the knot. So I'm just going to, what did I do, 3 times? Yeah, 3 times. We'll make a knot, and there you go. We have a little bit of a tail at the front going through our loop, and we have a knot on the back end. And here we go. Okay, voiceovers are crazy. So now I changed my thread color. The orange felt like you could see it better in the demo, but on my piece, now I'm doing white. Surprise! I've already done one side to show you what it's looking like, but I'm taking my needle and my thread, not at the end, and I'm just going to pop it through that first hole, making sure it's going through both pieces of fabric. To take this video, I was at a bit of a weird angle, so I apologize for that. But we see it coming through the back here, and then it stops when it hits that knot. That tail you can trim off later. I believe I do off camera. But then I'm going to come back through the back and pop up through the next hole. So you are going back and forth, making sure you are going through both pieces of fabric each time. Now I'm going down again. I'm going to hold it, go down through that fabric, pull through nice and slow. Sometimes the string can get caught up. Sometimes you'll have to untangle it. I'm sure that happens in this video. You'll find out. And popping through the back again. I know this is a little slow and tedious in this video. That's because I'm trying to make sure you can see every step of the process. But the idea is that once you're more comfortable with the technique, this will go a lot faster. You'll get very used to it very quickly. This is kind of your most basic sewing technique. We're just going up and down along our line. Each dot, remember, I am using to gauge even distance between my stitching. If you have super uneven stitches, your piece will most likely look a little off. Oh, that we got caught unstuck. Okay. So you're going to want to keep your spacing as even as possible. Okay, and so I just have the last 4 here to do. If for some reason when you're pulling your needle through, your needle comes undone from the thread and separates, just, thread it back through, no big deal. There we go. Struggling with that one, it seems. Wow, I just took this video and I already forgot all of these things that happened. Okay. Okay, there we go. Back on track. So we've popped up through the back. I'm saying pop a lot. And we're popping down again. Okay, one more to go. Yes, and you want to pull that string taut, not so taut that it wrinkles your fabric, but you don't want any loose loops hanging out. All right. And so you see here on both sides, we have our stitches up and down through both pieces of fabric as even as we can get them. And now I'm going to go through just that top brown layer of fabric really quick. And I'm making a knot at the end here. So what I'm going to do, when I pull through, I'm going to stop before my loop disappears. And then I'm going to thread that needle back through that loop before I pull it taut. There we go, back through the loop. Now I'm gonna pull it, and it got stuck, and now it's unstuck. Okay, and pull and knot. There it is. And that's gonna secure your string. And again, I'm just going to trim that at the very end. You could do that 2, or I mean 3 is a little excessive, but you could do that maybe twice just to secure it. And there we go. We have 2 secured sewn lines. I'm taking those needles / pins that were holding my fabric out, and there we are. And so our last step here as this video transitions, boom, okay. I didn't do any kind of transition on this. That's a lot of effort. I'm now going to stick my fingers through my tube, okay? I'm going all the way through, and I'm gonna pull it inside out. So when you sew your fish, you'll actually be sewing it with both outside pieces facing each other first, because we'll have to pull it inside out at the end, because that hides our stitches and our seams, okay? Invisible seams are exciting. All right, and here we are at the end of the project. I am just making sure everything is lining up the way I want it to, making little adjustments, and there we are, okay? So imagine this as your beautiful fish, but we have beautiful hidden seams, nice, easy transitions between the 2 pieces of fabric. And there you go. Good job. Good luck. See you out there.